Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Hog Talk podcast, part of the Believe and Buzz Radio Network, and now part of the Residents News Network. We are powered by RNN. We will talk about that new partnership in just a second, but I want to welcome you into the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios. And I'm Porter Hayes. Alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall. All live shows are brought to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. But Adam, we will jump right into the breaking news. I guess I'm a Friday at 3:30 p.m. kind of guy. I love breaking news right before we go on a show. But we have partnered up with Residents News Network. I started contributing for them a little bit last year, writing articles, and was going to get involved with that with the Ozark Hillbillies, which shout out to my Ozark Hillbillies. It's time. I got the banner up behind me, but talked with you. You was cool with it. Then got with Tammy Teague and all the sports team at RNN, and they are stoked. So we have a new audience tonight. Our podcast is live on the Facebook page. I have confirmation. We have sound, so we are good to go. But I'm really excited about this partnership with RNN and the River Valley coverage. Adam, we know what it was like with Southwest Times, Arkansas Democrat. Everything was in the River Valley. That shrank in size. I dealt with it here in Ozark with the Spectator. That's why I do the Ozarker now. So we're going to do big things with our partnership. We're going to give you a podcast. We're going to give you that virtual aspect. We're going to bring high school sports, Razorback coverage to the River Valley. And both of us being from the River Valley, it means a lot that we're able to partner up with them and give them that aspect.
Well, you and I have talked, I feel like ad nauseum, about just how things used to be, whether it was Southwest Times, whether it was 5 News and their Friday night coverage, this, that, and the other. And that has gone to the wayside. Yep. So I feel like with RNN and everything that we want to do with, like, I mean, the high school coverage and then continuing our Razorback coverage, whether it's us getting out to the various high schools for games, meeting with coaches, meeting with players, me being from Fort Smith and having a somewhat relationship with even, the newer Northside basketball coach who's, a year or so in, but being able to get to the River Valley, whether it's Northside, Southside, Greenwood, even going down to Charleston, Lavaca, I mean, all the above, I think that you and I will be able to bring what has been missing for a long time.
Daily content. That's the thing. We've kind of been slacking during the summer, but it's hard to, there's a lot of people out there, and we are kind of digging at some people. And for our new audience, we do bring a kind of different type of Razorback show. We're more off the cusp. We give it how it is and our true thoughts. We're not like the Sunshine Pumpers. Now that might get us in trouble now. We don't know. We'll see. But we kind of tell it how it is and our true thoughts about the Razorback program. And that's just how we are. But we have deep rooted ties to our said communities. Northside, Fort Smith, Adam, I'm Ozark through and through. I just did an interview with Josh Watson, high school coach. But we love being able to have this partnership, and we're going to be doing daily coverage. More to come on that. We're going to be doing some stuff live. So, when you're on the Residents News Network Facebook page or live, you're going to see a lot more content coming through that. So just stay tuned for the coverage. But now, with that, all that being said, I do, since we are talking about River Valley and we are talking about another partnership we did, Arkansas NIL Store is another partnership. But I do have Paris people, the Jaden Wells 45 shirt. I talked to Teresa. Me and Teresa and Benson go way, way, way back. We played softball many years ago when Jaden was in pigtails. I wrote an article in RNN about Jaden being from Paris and playing in the Women's College World Series. So head over to the Arkansas NIL Store. Your promo code is HAWG and get all that going. But now we'll move to the meat and potatoes of our show. So right here is the NIL Store. And when you check out now, we did get an email, Adam. I forgot to share this with you. You don't have to just get Razorback stuff to get our promo code. You could get any kind of Major League, NBA, NFL stuff. You can get any kind of gear on this page and use promo code HAWG and get 15% off. So that was released last
NCAA,
week.
MLB, PA, I mean, there's a whole lot more than just Arkansas on here.
So go on there and shop for your favorite player, your favorite team, and don't forget to use the promo code HAWG to get your 15% off. And we're starting this at the right time, Adam. So, I mean, fall camp is going. They had their first scrimmage. There was some good. There was a lot of bad from what I've heard. And we'll break that down. But just for what did you think from everything you've heard today, what you've seen leading up to the scrimmage?
You know, it's one of those that I am still in the boat that I have been in, that we need to see this team on the field and not against each other. You know, obviously North Alabama, September 5th, like that. That's going to be what it is, just like we've seen in the past. I think it's truly going to be, what team do we see against Utah at Utah? Yeah. So as it stands right now, I mean, you and I have talked about this, that there's some still, like we've seen in recent past, there's some worry on the defense. I wasn't sold on the defensive coordinator when he was hired, just because of what we had seen at Auburn and Florida, and then even listening to him, like in press conference, like I don't feel like he is sold on this defense. We still have the questions at quarterback, even though I think we all can agree that it's more than likely going to be KJ Jackson and not AJ Hill. But there is still that battle going on. I still worry a bit, just because we sit here and when these athletic departments put out their clips, their videos, their this, their that, whatever, you would think that it's like, hey, we're going to put out just all good things. But seeing some issues at wide receiver, catching passes, corner routes, things of that nature, it kind of makes you wonder. Yeah. And maybe they're doing that for a reason, but at the same time, I sit here and still worry. But at the same time, I mean, we'll have our prediction show in the next week or so. I mean, I think I've been saying this since last season. I'm still taking this team at 3-9. Maybe you get 4-8. Like I said you earlier, we have some folks out there that are talking 9-3. They're talking 10-2, and things of that nature. Not going to happen. But I just worry. But at the same time, it's like, as long as you don't go 2-10 or worse, it's a win in my book. If you go 3-9, 4-8, improve off the last season, completely new team, 80-ish new members of this team or whatever it is. So whether they want to call it a rebuild or not, this is a completely new team. So let's see what they can do.
Yeah, and watching the press conferences and stuff, and watching all of the coaches, I didn't really listen. I mean, I listened to a couple of players and stuff, but until recently, with especially because and what we were being told was it's KJ's job. There's no competition. And so I'm thinking, what happened? How did KJ digress a little bit to now where it is a competition? Did he think he had it in the bag? And did something happen to where not necessarily AJ got better, but I think KJ got worse? Because from everything we were talking about with his arm and his accuracy, and there was a lot of questions about what was going into this season. And this could look, and again, I've talked to a couple of people, and they don't take too much into what they read out of scrimmages and pressers. This could all be smoke screen. This could all be hearsay. But that's where we gather our information from what we hear, from what we see on social media, from their clips. The word capable is not a way to flex on your quarterbacks. When I hear this quarterback is capable of doing, he is capable of doing this when you're a couple of weeks out, how can you use that as one of your adverbs when you're talking about your quarterback? There should be a clear cut. We know this is our guy. You were in the SEC and you're in year one. And there was a point where KJ was your guy. So that's what worries me. One. Two, the depth at wide receiver. They're sitting here saying 8 or 9 guys is capable of being SEC talent. But I'm hearing one guy, Chris Marshall. Okay, now he's going to have to be a Treylon Burks type of receiver. If you're going to go with one guy that you can rely on and you're going to make waves, he better be an NFL type player, because that's what's going to get you to 5 wins that I've said ceiling. Another one is the fact that day one, when they talked to the defensive coordinators, who stepped out in practice, who showed up, who excited you in practice? Nobody. That, to me, that is your time where you want to talk about hyping up your team. This is your time to shine and hype up the team. There was none of that. None of these guys stepped up. None of these guys did that. And then the tweet come out where there was a lot of, explosive plays that the defensive gave up. So there's so many questions I have. I'm more concerned about this team now than I was at the beginning. I was starting to give them some hope, but now I said 5-win ceiling, but I might be adjusting that to 3 or 4 now.
I'm throwing off a little bit because I hear an ice cream truck outside, and I haven't heard one of those in who knows how long.
I think that's anything's popsicle.
I mean,
there's a lady out of Fort Smith. I guarantee that's who it is.
I have not heard that ice cream sound in so long. But no, I'll play that clip here in a second.
Okay.
For Ryan Silverfield. But yeah, when you brought up that word, the capable, and then listening to him, I'm just kind of like, you don't sound so sure. So we'll play that right quick.
Okay.
Your thoughts on the quarterback play today?
I was pretty pleased with it. I think talking with Coach Krams and Coach Mitch, we've all been saying the same things about the quarterbacks. They are capable. AJ, continue to make the easy throw, and then speed up the timing of those things, right? Today, some of the sacks were just timing stuff, not necessarily always on the line, but 1001, 1002, ball's got to be gone. And KJ, again, making great decisions with the football. I'll take a punt over throwing a pick. But the 2 guys are competing, AJ and KJ. The decision has not been made. It's my job to put them in more 2-minute situations, more run checks. So this next week's going to be really heavy on that. What I was so pleased with KJ and AJ in his situation as well today is the command of the offense. To see that to occur with our quarterbacks, that's everything. That's huge, and you can never put them in enough paces. But I think those quarterbacks, and KJ in particular today, had a really good command of the offense in that situation.
And this is one thing that we've talked about was whether it's KJ or whoever in the read progressions through whoever is a quarterback, but especially KJ, because we all assumed that that's who it's going to be. But with the way Silverfield, Cramsey, the way they run things is that it's going to be a 1-2. You got to get the ball out or take off running or whatever. So we're going to see a lot of tunnel screens. We're going to see a lot of even whoever is at quarterback maybe taking off and running, because you're not going to be able to sit back in the pocket. And that's a lot of that unknown too comes with the unknown of our offensive line. Yep. So none of us really knows, and that's not been really talked about a whole lot. So, reading between the lines a little bit, him talking about, 1,000, 2,000, it's legit. You've got to get the ball out because maybe your offensive line can't hold up.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And this is another thing that concerns me is there is so much rebuilding to go with this team that you don't know where to start. Okay, we hadn't heard about the offensive line. We hadn't heard much about the defense. We've heard about bits and pieces, but it's like there is so much to fix. It's almost like there were so many holes in the dam, and you have only so many pieces of putty that you could plug in these holes to build your team year one, that there's going to be some holes missing. There's going to be some things, and that's why when I tell people 3 to 4 wins tops, it's not a diss on Silverfield. It's not a diss on the coaching staff. Just from the people that I trust, that I talk to, who cover the team, they just don't have the depth. They don't have the horses in the stable to withstand this schedule. And I know there's a break, and we'll break this all down next week when we give our predictions. And there is a bit of relief in the middle part of your schedule, and even towards the latter end, until you got LSU, Texas back to back. But can they get to that? I think that's going to be the biggest question for this Razorback program. Can you get to that October point after that Tennessee game where you're healthy to where you can go 3-1 down in that stretch of 4 games? And now that's where I gave the 5 wins. But if they can't come out of this hole like they did last year, where it was all offense and the defense is getting torched, I'm seeing 2 to 3 wins.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way. I mean, and that's if you beat Tulsa. And that's even after me giving you grace. If South Carolina comes into town November 14th, then they're limping because they're not doing as well, and they're getting ready to fire their head coach. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that got to fall into place, and we could be underestimating Vanderbilt. We don't know. I'm not giving them a pass because I don't think they're going to be that good this year. But still, yet, what's Arkansas going to be? We're still Arkansas, and that's sad to say. That's sad to tell our audience, but you can't just go into this and you're getting to play Vanderbilt. Everybody's looking at you saying we get to play Arkansas this week.
Yeah. And I look at it like kind of like the NCAA tournament for basketball, if you will. The whole mentality of survive and advance. And I feel like that's what this football team is going to have to do, survive and advance. And like I've talked about, like, I'm not going to look at you like a 2-win team, a 3-win. I'm going to look at you week to week. And did you give up? Where were the holes at? Where did you slip up at? Did you correct these issues? Did you have stupid penalties, stupid turnovers? After a stupid penalty, how did that player bounce back from it? They've changed the targeting rules, which I don't know if you had looked into.
No, I hadn't seen.
Yeah, so targeting rules did change for this season, which this is how it should have been previously. Let me pull those up right quick. Let me see. I should have had these pulled up already. The first one, you're not suspended the first half of the next game or whatever.
I like that. I like the game.
The first time you're ejected, but you don't have to miss the first half of the next game. Second time, which we know a lot of this too, like players don't typically get multiple targeting or penalties or whatever. The second time you are ejected and suspended the first half of the next game, which is what we see right now. The third time you are ejected and suspended all of the next game. So now they're giving you grace that you're not going to be suspended the first half of the following game.
They're making it to where they're going beyond. If you keep this up, if you become a habitual, what do they call that? They call it mind jump today. If you keep on doing this multiple times, they're going to punish you harshly. So, it's going to be a challenging year, and you're talking about the turnovers and the frustrations. We heard, behind the curtains, the battle between the offense and defense last year when it come to the NIL, and did Petrino and T. Will get along? What happened with all that stuff? And it's you don't want that to happen because you're trying to build a program, but if you can only build one half of a team and it's always going to be the offensive side of the ball, that's what you're going to get. Habitual offender. That's what I meant to say. Got tongue tied there. Tony.
How are the coaches going to get these guys after you make a bonehead play, getting these players back in the right frame of mind?
Yeah.
Or whether it's the captain or whether it's another teammate to get that player like lined back out, like, hey, get back with it, whatever the case may be. So I think that's a lot of it because we've looked at the last couple of years, whether it was a boneheaded play or just the team giving up by the end of the game. And so I think a lot of this still, and I've talked about this multiple times, is going to be, how does Coach Silverfield and this coaching staff put this team in position to win these one possession games? Is this team going to be with it, or are they going to have given up at the end of these games? Are you going to be so in your head that you make stupid plays at the end of games like we've seen in the past before? So there's a lot of things here to question, and we're not going to know the answer until we see this team on the field.
Yeah, and again, we're really not going to see, and hopefully this is hopefully we're not going to see until they do play Utah. Hopefully that they could treat this North Alabama game as a. I mean, right now, via Bet Saracen, it's a 41-point spread.
Yeah.
Now that worries me. I'm not saying that North Alabama is horrible and Arkansas is that bad, but I would honestly take the under in this. I just don't have the. I don't. I think I'd be a total diss. I think I'd be taking it too far if I say, can Arkansas score 41 points against North Alabama? I think they better. It's one of those things that you're looking at that North Alabama game as a true scrimmage game, getting ready for Utah, because you have Utah, Georgia back to back. And that goes a big part of what I said of you're heading into that after that Tennessee game. How bad are you hurt with depth? Where are you at with injuries and all this stuff? Where's your morale at? Are you getting beat by Utah and Georgia so bad that by game 5 or 6 you're ready to hang it up? They do have the line of the Utah game at 9 points, still 9-point underdog. And then I can't remember where it was at last week when I checked this, but it's a 16.5-point underdog to Georgia. Now, I will say this. That's not, if you want to go silver lining, you only being a 16.5-point underdog to Georgia with how we're seeing this team, that's I'll take that as a win. You want to know moral victory, what we're used to with Chad Morrison days, that I guess they're giving them some grace because the game's at Arkansas. But yeah, I just have a lot of worries. We'll get more deep into our game by game prediction next year or next week. And I know it's only one scrimmage. You're really getting out there. And I know that, look, we can sit there and say it's football, they're padding up, but by God, it's been hot. It's been brutally hot. So how has that affected them and, recovering and getting back out on the field and really getting out there in pads and doing a full workout? So
here's a question from Tony. What are you guys' thoughts about Arkansas's profit earning sports? It seems like they're focusing heavy in basketball, and that football seems like secondary now. They got the big hire for the head coach in basketball, and Silverfield was highly sought, and they got him. And are they almost setting him up for potentially for failure because they're splitting profit? So here's the thing with basketball is
Tony does a podcast. He did a podcast on his show, but he's from Indiana right now, but he's asking about the profit sharing. So
I look at it from the standpoint that basketball is solely funded by John Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, they're still getting NIL from other places after the fact, whether it's the players getting, whatever deals that they get. But, it's solely funded by John Tyson. We know that for a fact.
Yep.
So, we've heard that since Ryan Silverfield came to Arkansas and this is something that rubs me the wrong way. We've been told, and we've heard on the radio, it's been aired on ESPN Arkansas. It's been said multiple times that 80% of Ryan Silverfield's time at Arkansas has been fundraising, which kind of makes you wonder, well, who's coaching then?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's, football brings in the most revenue. So obviously that's going to be the biggest focus. And I feel that's the majority of your Division I schools. It's football is king, unless you are just truly a basketball school like Kentucky. I would have said Indiana prior to Segnetti, but now obviously, they've done their thing. But no, I wouldn't say that Ryan Silverfield is being set up for failure, but I do believe that he is basically having to take on the reins of the fundraising and the NIL all on his own. because we all have talked about to an nauseum that Hunter Yurchek has checked out. And he's obviously a terrible fundraiser. And he obviously has failed at whatever NIL collectives and whatnot that he's brought on. So it's all on Ryan Silverfield to make or break.
Yeah. And to add on to that, if you can really go look, I mean, I think he said something about there was the two sports. There is very, very, very few teams that are make profit on baseball. I really want to say that, and a majority of that's SEC schools. And I don't know, I would like to really look at the numbers. I'd have to dig into the numbers on how many of these schools now, since NIL's taken over, how many of them are in the green in basketball. Arkansas is one of those rare where they, as bad as they are making profits in football, they're making profits in basketball, and barely making profit in baseball. They're making revenue. So we will get more into that part when we go into our second segment, when we're talking about, because we're going to talk about the Little Rock Touchdown Club after the break. But it's the fact that I think it's not so much setting him up for failure. I mean, it can be taken that way, but I think more so is what fundraising that Hunter Yurchek's doing. It's going in the wrong department. It's going in the wrong area. He's saying he's got 25 of this $30 million for that all-in fund, but I don't think any of that goes to NIL. So, I mean, he's able to get now I know the Tyson jersey patches.
Yeah.
The jersey patches and the nuggets, all proceeds of that goes to NIL. But again, Hunter Yurchek might have closed the deal on that, but that was John Calipari's. And then you want to go to the naming rights. Well, we all know he wants to, pump his chest and boast about the naming rights, but that was Learfield. And Learfield's probably getting a nice cut of that. So the profit earning sports, I mean, right now, your biggest one's your worst program. And you can look at Nebraska, teams like that. You could still be horrible football programs, but you still have that loyal fan base that comes and buys season tickets, and they show up, and you're still generating revenue. Will that change? Probably not. That's just how it is in the South. And if you want to go to the few said schools and out West and even Nebraska, football is just different in the South. Definitely. I mean, it's king to the SEC and the ACC, Sun Belt, all of that. But we just want to see winds change, and I don't see it happening this year. I had faith in it until I really started deep diving into these press conferences and seeing what we're seeing from the scrimmages, but we'll have more to go. But when they play North Alabama, then we'll get a good test of, okay, they're playing other teams. Let's see how they do.
Yeah, definitely. And even after that North Alabama game, I mean, like we talked about, I believe last week, after Arkansas played Western Carolina a couple of years ago, we played UAPB in that first game. We all feel great after those games, or we had questions after the Western Carolina game. But we never know what's going to happen the rest of the season. So I think that Utah is truly the test. And I'm still in that boat. Hey, if it's the fourth quarter and Arkansas is down double digits, say we're down 3 scores. And this isn't me trying to crap on Arkansas or whatever else. But if for whatever reason, if Utah, a newly coached Utah team is up, 3 scores in the fourth quarter, I'd look at Kane Archer to come in.
Yeah.
Just because of the ties to Arkansas being from Greenwood. Just to kind of rub it in the face. So
I wouldn't see why not. You see what Western Kentucky did when they brought Ty Story in here. So, and you talk about bringing him in. I mean, and I don't know if it would go down like this, but do you think it would be more of a slap in the face if they got into victory formation and he was the quarterback that come in, and instead of coming in and getting, he's the one that just sat there and put the knee down and it was in victory formation? I think that would be a bigger flex.
That would be a bigger flex, a bigger slap in the face if he came in just to take a knee. Oh, 100%. Yep.
So What we're going to do, we'll answer this question real quick, and then we'll go ahead to a break. So, will U of A will never get the big donor money from the AD efforts until your check's gone. I totally agree with that.
100%.
I think that's a big part of it because, and that's a twofold answer. I don't think one, he will, because one, they don't fully believe in him, but two, if he did get the big donor, it's not going to go to NIL.
Yeah.
That's
going to go to the
that's
Razorback
not
Foundation.
his deal. I mean, we've said this, and we'll shout out our partners at Bet Saracen. You know, they wanted to have the raffle. We could have had this problem semi-fixed. I would just love to know, and Carlton would probably be a good answer for this, to tell you how much money he would, you know, just let's do an estimated revenue generator of how much in a year and a half that he thinks that they could have generated with them doing this raffle on their own. Because if it would have been popular, and you know, half of it's going to NIL, half of it's going to a true winner, not a foundation member, I would see you be getting close to $90,000 to $100,000 every time.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that if Bet Saracen had gotten a hold of this, I would look at it being triple to quadruple what they have done in the Razorback raffle.
Yeah.
Point blank period. So,
well, as we bring up Bet Saracen, before we head to break, we do want to shout our partners at Bet Saracen. For those, our new audience members, Resident News Network people, subscribers, download the Bet Saracen app today. New users, if you use the promo code HAWG, HAWG250, all new users get $250 in free wagers, bets on your first deposit of $25 or more. So download the app today, get your free money, and right there, promo code HOG250, and we're just right around the corner. Again, as I said, I'm pulling up the app right now. You can get in on the action. The spread of the North Alabama game is 41. Over under is 62.5. And then if you want to go to the Utah game, 9-point underdog, and the over under is 55. So download the app, HOG, HAWG250, promo code $25 gets you $250 in free bets. We're going to take a quick commercial break. After the break, we're going to talk Little Rock Touchdown Club and wrap up the show with some great news from the Arkansas Diamonds and the new league they are moving to. Talk about a program that's on the rise. We'll talk about that after the break. Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials is sure to have everything you need. Whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck, plus our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together. Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University, we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community, and to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive.
Also, one of the traditions that we've done going back to Coach Broyles in 2009, we always invite the U of A athletic director. Coach Broyles started that, and it was really an honor to get him down here. After that, Jeff Long, 8 years, 2010 to 2017, and Hunter Yurchek, the last 7 years, 2018 to 2025. We extended the invitation to him this year. He chose not to accept, so he will not be coming. I will say this. We've had spirited debate following his last couple of visits. There's been spirited debate. And so our club has no agenda. We're disappointed. We want him here. I deal with Kyle Parkinson, and we want him back next year. We want him to come back. We want Arkansas to be successful. We want to be supportive. And so I just want to make sure that everybody knows we want good things to happen. There are good things happening on the Hill. Obviously the stadium sponsorship and those kind of things. But he chose not to take advantage this year, and that's fine. We'll miss him, and we hope he comes back in 2027. So, no Hunter Yurchek this year.
Adam, what was your thoughts on that? I mean, overall, let's go to the fact that he wasn't on the list and he chose to decline. What was your thoughts?
Well, first off, a lot of our comment section caught on to like whatever I sent you, which was the very last picture on that graphic, which was name, no last name, or name, last name, or whatever, because they didn't go in and edit whoever that was.
Did you see what I put on that? I
didn't.
I said he's outsourcing his appearance.
Oh, there we go. You still have that TBA, which is, from my understanding, it's already secured. They just haven't wanted to announce it, so maybe it's a beer name. I kind of look at it as a cop-out on his part. We know that last year or the year before, whenever it was, he came out and talked about not Sam Pittman not having the financials to basically produce a team, setting him up for failure more or less. And like we've talked about, I mean, he's been checked out for quite a while. So I know Baz, talked about bringing him back or hoping he comes back in 2027. But I think a lot of us are on that same page that, like when this contract runs out, he's done, just unless it's one of those, the foundation, the board of directors, whoever look at him like, hey, you're in the black every year, you're making us money, so we want to keep you on, and he can't find other work. So that's the only way I really see him staying on. But dude's checked out. This was a cop-out. He didn't want to face the fans and face the scrutiny over everything, especially after his last run in front of the Little Rock Touchdown Club. We've seen it that, when it comes to Twitter and other social media, he is basically gone MIA unless he is congratulating whatever team on winning another SEC championship. So this is a athletic director that is just completely tuned out. So I'm not shocked by it. At the same time, I think he needs to be dragged through the mud for it, because you're now the athletic director in a number of years to not have the goal to step in front of the fans and Baz and whoever else and answer these questions.
Yeah. If we were still in the Sam Pittman era and this thing was just running off the rails, I could maybe be more okay with it. But his biggest thing, aren't we one Razorback? Where's this one Razorback at? We are one Razorback, and you are the head of We Are One Razorback. You gave yourself, well, I wouldn't say give yourself, you got an increase in your salary. You make $1.5 million a year to be the athletic director. And mind you, the numerous assistants and GMs and, outsourcing entities that you use to do whatever it is that your decision makers are. I would love to know how many people make decisions for him at the University of Art. It is your obligation to show up to the Little Rock Touchdown Club, whether it's required or not. That's neither here nor there. It is your obligation. You are the head of the flagship program in the state of Arkansas to face this crowd. But because by God, when that raffle hits $100,000, you win this game, or you want to be petty and you want to boast and you want to gloat, you're all about it. But when negativity finds you, you cop out, like you said. I think it was a coward move to not show up, because honestly, dude, somebody even said Baz was willing. Hey, look, you don't have to do any post questions. You don't have to. We could just introduce you. We can ask you a couple of questions. You can be in and out. We can make this as formal as possible and as easy as possible for you. Because honestly, what would make it worse? You showing up, getting booed, and kind of talking, and people are saying, "Oh, you're just saying nonsense," or you didn't show up, one foot's out, and now you're making it look worse.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think you owed it to the fans, because one, you owe it to Ryan Silverfield. Now, what's he thinking? You're one into his appearance, and you're one into his program. This is supposed to be new. You sat up there last year and said you didn't have the funds. Now you do. Where are we at on that? Can you elaborate on where we are with the setting up Ryan Silverfield as a head coach? You can't talk about that. If you didn't want to come, where's Remy Cofield? Where's this other football GM? Where's these other GMs that are making $400,000 or $500,000 a year? Why couldn't they take your place? Why couldn't you outsource it? Could Learfield not get you a person that could take your spot? But it was very irritating that they reached out and he declined. And he might be here for another couple of years. I don't know. But I just think how he might be pettier than you are. I don't know. But it's just the fact that it wasn't a good look. I wish, let's all the BS aside, all the jokes aside, I would still want him to come in there and try to talk and try to turn this thing around. But when you decline, that's you're still going in that, and you want to talk about the fans' reactions and the fans being negative, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And you got the Chuck and Bo show. Oh, y'all are morons. Y'all are idiots. Y'all need to bring the positivity. Where's the positivity when you don't even show up to do your part?
Yeah. And let's look at here's the list. So we got Ryan Silverfield on August 24th. Then we have Emmett Smith on August 31st, Lynn Swan, Gus Malzahn, Doug Flutie, Jason Peters, John Tyson, the TBA that I talked about.
Did you talk about the being in the big arena?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't even realize that.
Yes. So,
Simmons Bank. So, yeah.
Yes, it's going to be in the arena. And Baz said this is going to be the biggest one in Touchdown Club history. So everybody's either saying Tom Brady or Nick Saban. Do you think Nick Saban could sell out Simmons Bank Arena?
No, I don't. I think it would be a good showing. Tom Brady would, but I just can't see that happening.
Yeah.
Everybody's BFF, Wally Hall, no relation.
They're roasting him they're doing a roast for him as well.
Butch Jones, Arkansas State, Nathan Brown, UCA, Frank Ragnow, Lance Barrow, and the last name is Matt Stitchcomb.
Yeah.
From ESPN.
Man.
Name, last name.
He has a name.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, I just look at that list and I'm just kind of like, you don't have the wherewithal to show up to this thing to speak, but we've got the likes of Gus Malzahn, Wally Hall, Butch Jones. You have these guys that are showing up that would be under, or that have been under, more scrutiny than you have been. Because we all know, I mean, Butch Jones has been drugged through the mud. Obviously, Gus Malzahn has been for years and years. And you don't want to show up, but we can get Gus Malzahn to show up and speak.
Yeah, it's the hypocrisy of it. There's and the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, okay, what about this? Or you're talking about the one Razorback, or you're blaming the fans and us for not being, positive and the hoorah rah, but when you can't even come out and make a statement and try to help, move the needle, help give us that hope. Well, I mean, if you want to be honest, whether how we feel about you personally or not, we don't know how we feel about this new regime and this new president that is Ryan Silverfield. Where's the path of this program going? This is a very important year of, are we going to continue going down this 3 to 4 win track, or is this guy going to turn things around? Because I'll tell you this, I guarantee what will happen. Let Ryan Silverfield get 6 wins. That very next day, Hunter Yurchek going to be on the phone with Baz. Oh, I'm going to be right there. I did that, and it kind of gives off that Houston Nut vibes of, I called that play. It gives off those vibes, but it's all said and done. He chose not to be there. Baz was, upset, and I kind of understand too, because you got to give it to our partners at the Buzz. They don't sugarcoat anything.
No,
you could tell a huge difference between the Buzz and the other guys and the ones you hear in our neck of the woods over here in the Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas region. I've listened to the Buzz a lot. Baz don't play around. If he has something to say, he says it. They don't have the sunshine radio like they do at ESPN Arkansas. And just for note, your dog barking, we love animals here. You can let you. You're still, the mute monster still got you. Adam, you're still muted.
Ice cream trucks happen, and there we go. Ice cream trucks happen, and dogs go crazy. So
there we go.
That's what it is.
Hey, we're live. That's the thing. Got to let your dog have a voice. He's trying to tell us why Hunter Yurchek didn't come to the Little Rock Touchdown Club.
Oh.
So
he would. The dog would probably raise more money than Yurchek has.
I love it. All right. Before we get out of here, we have the Arena Football League in the Arena Football team in Hot Springs. They started out as the Hot Springs Wise Guys. Then year 2, they turned into the Arkansas Diamonds. You talk about a job that Lauren Hatton's done, bringing in a new owner, bringing in a new team name. Now they're going to the Indoor Football League next year. It is the premier league of arena football. And I don't know, guys, if you go down to Hot Springs next summer or whenever they have this league, you're missing out. It is one of the most entertaining games I've ever been to. And if you look at the fans, that overtime win or the win they had where the fans were rushing the field and they were shirtless rushing the field, I've never seen that in an arena football game in my life. But big shout out to the Arkansas Diamonds. Their big announcement yesterday. They will be moving to the Indoor Football League starting in 2027. So another outlet where you can go watch some sports, watch some football, and it is very, very entertaining.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I feel like a lot of the indoor leagues, arena leagues, things of that nature, it brings you a different aspect of football. It brings you a different type of feel, environment, things of that nature, and it's a lot more fast paced than what we're used to. So it's definitely different, but still familiar. Learn the rule. Yeah, the rules are a little bit different, but I don't think I've ever seen, a week that's gone by that the Arkansas Diamonds have played and there just not been a run of highlights that come from those games. So I'm excited for them.
They had that game at home and they free admission. Like this guy wants to build something. He gave free admission to the home game and they won him. And I want to say they made it to the championship game 2 years in a row. None they made it this year. I want to say they made it to the championship game last year. So 2 years in a row, you're playing for an arena football championship and you're in year 3. You're in year 3 of your program. So, year 2 of the program. Sorry, you made it to the championship game both years. You're going into year 3. Apologies, but we went to the inaugural game, me and my brother-in-law, and the fact too, though, Hot Springs, if somebody was asking me, I do my on the Ozark project for the Ozark and stuff, and I've been going around the town and stuff, and it's gotten me involved with a lot of statewide stuff. And there were some people talking about if you could go anywhere in the state of Arkansas and take your kids or family, where would you go? And I said, well, if it's one individual place, I would go to Petit Jean State Park. I just think everything they have to offer with the hiking and the lake, you can paddleboard, walking, all that has to offer. But if you want a weekend getaway, I have to say Hot Springs is the best destination spot in the state of Arkansas. You know, you have the old town part where the bars and, you know, the Ohio Club and Maxine's, and then you have the casino and the horse races, and then the lake life. Lake Ouachita is one of my favorite places to go. But how that place is set up, and you could go for really make a full weekend down in Hot Springs and then go to the Arkansas Diamonds game. So be looking forward to that when they put out their schedule. We're going to have the coach on and Lauren Hatton on here in a few weeks. I'm getting the details set up on that. But guys, for our new audience tuning in tonight, we want to thank you for tuning in. Be looking forward to new guest update. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff coming out on your page and a lot of other things going on with, you know, the Hog Talk podcast. High school coverage is coming. Me and Adam's going to be on the works with that. We're going to be doing daily coverage, daily videos. So be on the lookout for that. Adam, you got anything else?
Hog HQ Live at 8:05.
Hog HQ Live 8:05. And don't forget, for those again, shout out to our partners at Bet Saracen. Download the Bet Saracen app. Use promo code HOG H2 HOG H250. Look at me being H2O Billy, not Billy, Bobby Boucher. HOG 250. Bet $25 gets $250 in free bets. And this is the perfect time. Football coming in. They do UFC, Major League Baseball, college football, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised in a few years they did high school football. You just never know. So
it wouldn't shock
download
me.
the app.
It would.
No, it would not.
Definitely wouldn't shock me to see it.
Oh, well, that will do it for this episode of the Hog Talk podcast. Thank everybody for tuning in. For Adam Hall, I am Porter Hayes. Hog HQ Live coming up in an hour at 8:05, but we will catch you next Sunday.